back. Got back late last night. Had to do a run back to the old home, and it's just a long rip. 7 hours total travel. And then I had to go grab my car, actually, and grab some other stuff, and Sarah had some business to do over there. And then I drove the car back. She came back with her vehicle, loaded up more stuff. And for all you car buffs out there, I'll show you the car. If I remember to, I'll show you the car at the end of this video. It's sitting right out here. And in case there's any snivellers watching who like to snivel about other people's success, just so you know, I worked my ass off and saved my money, and I paid for that car about 15 years ago. Alright? No, YouTube didn't buy me a frickin' collector Camaro. But anyway, getting on with it. So much to share, so much coming in. I'm trying to decide whether or not I should tackle a couple topics right now or save that for later. I should probably save it for later. Again, I'm going to go forward with sharing videos on the Rumble channel with the topics that aren't so freely spoken about online. There's a lot to share, a lot to talk about. I'm getting information sent to me from all over the frickin' shop. From nurses, from doctors, from first responders, from a lot of people. And I was just talking to Sarah about it this morning when we were having coffee in the back porch. She's like, I don't know why. I said, I don't know why. I don't know why I can't just go with the flow. Let somebody stick something in my body and not even look into exactly what's put into my body and carry on as business as usual and be numb between the ears and not give a shit. I haven't a clue why. I can't be like that. I haven't a clue why I have the burning urge to fight. I don't know why, but I'm going to figure out why. But one thing I will share, a thought we had this morning over coffee, was when I was explaining to Sarah, I go, you know, just picture back in the 1940s, or even possibly it was earlier than that. Unfortunately, I'm not up to date with the dates, but could you imagine being in a modern city today? Back then, which would have been a modern city, like the German version of New York. Now picture this. You're in, what, Berlin? Say you're in Berlin. Late 30s, early 40s, Berlin. You are the most modern population on the planet. You're up to date. You're advanced in all the latest technology. You're considered you're just a very civilized community. And then all of a sudden, one day out of nowhere, somebody in that civilized community just says something sideways about the Jewish people, the Jewish population. Just says something a little sideways. Meanwhile, there's Jewish people in that community and they have thriving businesses. They are modern, they are educated, they are up to speed, they are part of the civilized city, the community, the country. And somebody just says something a little sideways. And then next thing you know, maybe even a month later, you know, you keep hearing that little sideways rumor. And then all of a sudden somebody who's respected in the community says something sideways about the Jewish people. And then next thing you know, if you're of Jewish descent, you must wear a yellow star sewn onto any of your clothing that you wear in the outdoors in public. You must wear that. Out of nowhere. And just like that, just before that time, you're just a part of that modern, civilized community. You had a thriving business. You're one of the regular people in the community. The next thing you know, all of a sudden you have to wear that sewn-on pouch on your clothing in public. If you don't, shit's gonna go sideways. And then rapidly, not too long after that's implemented, next thing you know, people are spitting on you in the street. Children are spitting on you in the street. And that's mainstream, and that's accepted. Right? You see what I'm getting at? How fast something can just start from a little bit of sideways in the most modern community at the time, and next thing you know, those people are getting their heads shaved and they are getting thrown into ovens and gas chambers. That happened. Just like that. And at the time, which was a very modern, civilized community. Right? It's like now we have some friends of ours back east in New Brunswick we were just talking to them, FaceTiming some family, and they said flat out they just got kicked out of 3 restaurants today because they weren't vaccinated. They were kicked out. Show no respect. Meanwhile, it's not law. People are just turning on each other. Just like that. 2 years ago, the mainstream theme was, oh, we're just going to flatten the curve. 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks we're going to flatten the curve. And now today, 2 weeks later, it is, oh, if you want to eat publicly or travel, show us your papers. Right? And every single person out there, everybody out there is turning on each other in a drop of a dime. Anyway, that's what I've seen what's going on. That's why I want to know. I want to know everything. I want to know what's going on. All right? And something's burning in my gut. Something's wrong. Something's up. And something's going on. There's no way getting out of it, around it. No denying it. Bad times are here. All right? It's not just a rumor. It's not just a weird feeling. Bad times are here. Something's up. There's a lot that doesn't make sense. And I want to make sense of it, and I'm not going to stop until I do. And as I find out and learn more, I'm going to share with you. Period. And I'm not going to stop. And I'm going to dig deep. And I'm not going to stop. Because, in a way, let's just say, I don't know if it's true or not, I haven't a clue yet, but I'm going to find out. But what if all of us as a whole are today's version of the Jewish people in Berlin or other communities, European communities back in the day? What if? What if that is what's going on today? I don't know it isn't. You don't know it isn't. Is it going to get worse soon? I don't know. I know one thing, insanity has been dumped upon us on a wide scale. There's no denying it. But anyway, in the meantime, I guess that was our topic this morning over coffee. I don't want all of us to be in that position of receiving absolute world upside down hell upon us from a dark side. Now, I don't want any dark side to win. I want to find out if there is a dark side, and I want to find out who it is, and I want to rally the troops, and I want to fight it to the death and win. That's what I got going on in my brain daily as I try to get all my other tasks completed, right? I hope I'm making sense. As usual, I've only had 2 coffees so far this morning, but that usually gets me babbling at my best, right? In the meantime, I got some shares, some email shares I want to get out. I will keep this channel on track with the task at hand, which is to bring the respect back to the innocent people who have had numerous experiences around the world and have been shit on and humiliated and belittled, and this is working. I receive very informative emails nonstop when it comes to that other topic that's going around with all of us today. And I need to share what I am hearing and reading and learning with all of you so that you can take from it what you will or leave it, but at least I shared it with you. Okay? At least I shared it with you. That's the main thing we have to do. That people got to stick together with each other and share all the knowledge they can with each other as we try to figure out what's going on. Because obviously, all mainstream news outlets are used to manipulate us. Period. That's all that mainstream news is used for today, is to manipulate us into a direction that whoever it is wants us to fall in line and go. So, it's all up to us to straighten this shit out. Right? There's my morning rant. Now listen, I got an email shared this morning that I find interesting. I think it was last year. We had an email from a guy named Dennis Severance from British Columbia. Dennis, I hope I'm remembering this clearly. You emailed us with a story of growing up near, where were you? Were you near Cultus Lake, I think, possibly? And living fairly rural, and you would go up the street to play with what you told your mom was the hairy kid, or the hairy kid, I think. And you basically grew up playing with a juvenile Sasquatch. You saw its mother. You would hear whistling. You would hear whistling from the forest, and then that little being would have to leave. I remember you said that somehow these beings put words in your head or communicated with you, which has been reported hundreds of times, you guys. Before you start shaking your head, that has been reported hundreds of times from around North America, from people who aren't connected with each other. And they said that they had to leave because, quote, it's too dangerous, we're always on the move. And I think they are the ones that first said that we are being hunted to be killed. And then that's when I replied with, and I've had a handful of people say that they're in contact with these beings. And I have said every single time to you, Dennis, and other people, if you're watching today, if you can, find out for us who is or what is continually trying to kill them and why. That's what I want to know. I want to know why, who and why. And if we could find out that clearly, that would open up a big can of knowledge for our puzzles, our personal puzzles to be filled in a little more. Anyway, and I believe you sent me another email, or maybe a previous email, with some photographs of the back of your home. I think it was in the Fraser Valley. I forget what that was about, if it was impressions outside the window in the ground or something. But anyways, I remember, that's what I remember clearly, okay? And then I believe that you also emailed to us that you did come across that juvenile not too long ago, and you said, quote, holy cow, did he get bigger, end quote. So, for all of you that are, your memory is getting kicked in and my words are familiar, we got a new email from Dennis, and I'm going to share it today, all right? So I just had to somewhat update you what we heard from this man previous. And here we go with a recent email from him, all right? Now, we had to go away. That's why I put a trough here, because I have been moving these guys across the other side of the property to graze over there, and I got a few bales of hay from a very, very interesting man I met at the head of the valley, who I will be having on here live soon as well. What a gold nugget find that was. From this man who's been in a farm away at the head of the valley remote for all of his life. But anyway, I had to put this little partition right here, a temporary partition, while I rebuild this whole zone, because if I put a hay bale on either side of the partition, because if I don't, old mom will beat the crap out of her kid and not let him eat. So that's, if you're wondering this hokiness behind me, that's the explanation for that. Right, moms? Yeah, sometimes she can be a real little bee, I'll tell you what. Other than that, she's a sweetheart. All right, here we go. Mindspeak with a couple new Sasquatch / Seve. Realized after rereading my last email that it was pretty long. That was 13 years worth of encounters. I hope it's not one of those ones you chose not to read on your videos. Oh, you know what, Dennis? You know, and to all other people who send me in long emails, don't feel a little self-conscious, insecure about that. The emails that I'm referring to are emails that just babble without even touching on the subject. All right? And just rambling on and 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 on, and I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm reading, and then I realize, holy shit. Delete. All right? So no, I wouldn't imagine it was one of your emails. I probably haven't even got to that one yet, Dennis, all right? Because I would have had the familiar words that you mentioned, I would have obviously caught my attention. Let's get on to this. Sorry, I'm babbling like an absolute ding-dong this morning. I recently had the opportunity to mind speak with two of these people / beings that I had previous encounters with, but had never had any type of communication with. The two conversations were entirely different, one being friendly and helpful, and the other one just plain rude and one-sided. This was one of the ones that sat near my camp all night last year babysitting me. It seemed, and I am guessing, that the one that hit me with the infrasound / thought energy stuff. Oh, sorry. This is one of the ones that sat near my camp all night last year babysitting me. It seemed. And I'm guessing the one that hit me with the infrasound / thought energy stuff, and that I was told wanted to take me then. Wanted to take me then. Take you where? Where would he take you? Find that out, Dennis, all right? I want to know where it would take you, if it took you, and why, and what would it do with you. The first conversation started with me hearing audible chatter coming from the woods to my left as I was sitting at this trailhead. Two of them talking to each other. I was thinking that I would love to learn and understand some of the spoken language. Just then, I heard in my mind what sounded like a single 4-syllable word spoken very fast. This was repeated 6 times. Each time it was repeated, it was slowed down and the syllables separated more. Sometime during this, I heard, "I am not good with these words." After the 6th time, when it had been separated into what sounded like 3 words, I heard the translation, as if having an epiphany. I heard, "We learn together." Been trying to find someone who has spoken with these beings to confirm the words I heard before repeating them here or anywhere else. I have reached out to a few people, including the Owl Man, with no luck so far. May contact Janice Carter and ask her. The second conversation was shortly after the first. I heard more chatter coming from the opposite direction, from the area where that mean one lives. Yes, where I was at is on a definite territory boundary that neither side will apparently cross. That sounds really interesting to me. Why they would actually have not like each other. I guess maybe if they're like humans, I guess that answers my question right there. I reached out and asked if there was one who had previously tried to put those sounds and images in my head to scare me. First response, "Go away." Asked, "What is your name?" I got an image of a big bear claw ripping my face open. I sent him back an image of my pistol sitting on the seat next to me, and I told him I would really not want to hurt any of the forest people. I asked him why he was so angry. "Go away." I started thinking about someone I've been chatting with regularly from this channel and asked, "What should I tell people about you? Tell them to stay out of my forest." The rest of the time I was there, he kept saying occasionally, "Go away. Why don't you go away?" I still have not seen this one, and I don't want to. The only reason I stayed around after he showed up was because I knew the other 2 who had protected me from this one were also in the area. Maybe this will help someone, maybe not. It does show the different personalities of these beings. I've had 2 more sightings recently as well. Pretty sure it was the same one both times, as I saw him 2 days in a row in almost the same area. Almost in the same area. This was on the other side of the wilderness from the other 2 Mindspeak incidents. He was just standing there next to a tree the first time, and the second day was sitting on a fallen tree, not even trying to hide. I reached out to him and asked how the hunting was going. No response. I wished him a successful hunt that night. Then I felt some confusion about the word successful, as if it did not translate. Finally, after trying to explain it, we came to the conclusion that I should have said, "Have a great hunt," or "a great hunting." Hope this finds you everyone well. Thank you, Steve, for this platform to share. Dennis Severance. Dennis, obviously that's a handful, right? That's a lot for a lot of people to take in that aren't familiar with this channel as much as other people are. What we've been hearing, what we've been learning from numerous people. But you know what? I'm not even that curious about the descriptions of these beings anymore. I really want to get to the meat of my whys. Why do they persist in living right next to us, even where we live? You know, obviously utilizing the properties that we live on, especially in British Columbia. The amount of untouched land in British Columbia, even in Canada as a whole, is ridiculous. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So if these were a being that were living here full-time in the forest mountains, meaning they're on the face of this planet full-time, why do so many of them insist on living right next door to us or bordering onto where we live, right? And then here's my attitude about stay out of my forest. I can't help it, but I instantly think in my mind of the reply, it's my forest too. All right? I didn't just buy a ticket because I had a lot of money and got planted on this round ball. I was born here too. This is my home too. This is my world, and this is my forest too. Okay? So I got a bit of a shitty comeback when it comes to somebody claiming to stay out of my forest. Now, stick it up your ass, it's mine too. We got to learn how to live next to each other. Right? But anyway, Dennis, if you could possibly, if you are going to persist in going out to these areas and having this communication. Again, if you could find out who kills them, how and why. Why do they live next to us? Why do they hate us? God, I could come up with a million whys, so could everybody else, and I'm sure we're going to hear it in the comment section below. But anyways, yeah, I'll just keep it at that. I got to move on to some more shares. But next time, if you do get a chance and you do communicate with these beings, just try to find out what the hell is going on. All right? We want to know why we are not informed about the existence of these beings publicly from a young age. Why are we not being informed? What would happen if we had to acknowledge these beings publicly across the board? I'd like to know that clear answer. And no, it's not about money. There's no freaking way it's about money. If the government could acknowledge the existence of these beings, there would be a huge gold pot to include some sort of taxation on it, right? Either tax the shit out of us to go into the forest or do whatever. It would just be more money for them. So I don't believe it's about money. I think it's something a lot bigger than that. I think it has something to do with, possibly has something to do with religious factors, maybe, our history, our true history, and possibly I think it as well has something to do with what we can do naturally, but it's been conditioned out of us. That's what I think so far, but we'll see. Okay, enough babbling. Holy shit, I'm talking too much. Thanks, Dennis. Email back, all right? Email back in. Who knows? Maybe we'll even meet up one day and I'll go out there and hang out with you or something. Maybe. Here's an email titled "Help Me." Those get my attention. Steve, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep running into these things. I just had the scariest shit go down last weekend. The start of the Utah deer and elk archery hunt. I had one start making cow calls at me after I had seen it. I watched it making these sounds, right up to the point that I decided to pull out my phone and record. It made no sounds, nor did it move like I hoped it would. A few seconds later, I shut off my phone. I heard a loud crack behind me, but then a tree fell within 10 to 15 feet of where I was standing. I knew then it was time to go, but I couldn't run. I couldn't even stop to get my pistol out of my backpack. I would never have my pistol in my backpack. It's always on my side. The only problem was we had been sitting in a tree stand, my buddy, a couple 100 yards away from me, and every time I moved, my pistol made a sound on the tree stand, so I took it off and put it in my backpack. Now at this point, I can't run. I feel like the only thing I can do is try to walk, and I did walk very slow-like. I was stalking. Next thing I know, crack. Now the tree fell close to me is the other. But still, we're close enough to get my attention. I decided to call on the radio to my friend who had already made it back to camp, and I told him to get my AR-10 and meet me on the fence line. I'm almost down to the creek just before I camp, but I'm being followed. At first, he did not know what I was saying, and he asked me to repeat. I then told him again, get my goddamn gun and meet me at the fence. I'm walking down and is following me. He knew by the tone of my voice and I was not effing around and I needed help. I made it down to the creek and could see my friend sitting about 75 yards up ahead of me along the fence line with my gun and in my general direction looking for something that could have been following me. I then got to him and said, get up, let's go, and started right towards camp. And he asked me, what's going on? I told him, just get to camp. We got to camp. Not 3 minutes later, a horrendous thunder and lightning storm hit. And it started downpouring rain. Like I've never seen in my life. Since all this happened, I've had time to think and recreate what went down, and I kind of feel like they were trying to protect me and get me out of the storm that was getting ready to come. I don't know if it's true, but the only thing I do know is I've had several close encounters with these beings, and the only thing I can say for sure is I want them to stop. I don't know what I ever did in my life to make these encounters happen, but I don't want them to happen anymore. I feel like I'm losing my mind, and maybe my mind is playing tricks on me and making me see things that aren't really there. If so, I don't know what the hell I'm ever going to do because the mountains and hunting are my life. I don't think I could ever go on without being in the mountains and hunting, enjoying what I've grown up and lived. Just got all of a sudden that I cannot enjoy anymore. If I'm going crazy, I wish someone could tell me that that's what's going on. If not, I need somebody to tell me that it's okay, and I need them to stop I don't want to see them anymore. I don't care about evidence or proof or anything. I just want to get on my life and be able to enjoy the way of life I have known since I was a little child. I don't want to go up there anymore and think about these creatures. Please help me if you can. Please help me if you can. Thank you so much for everything you do, and keep going if it's what keeps you going, but I'm out. I can't keep going and worry about the things that go bump in the night, or worry about running into these beings that I know exist. I just want them to stop coming to me. I'm no longer searching, nor do I give a shit to ever run into any sign or any situation where I have to see one of these things ever again. Thank you sincerely, Clint. All right, Clint, that sucks. And you aren't alone when it comes to those feelings, all right? Let's see. I have experiences with these things. They let me know they're around every year. I don't log the experiences. It's all in my head. I just remember. And obviously it's not hard to forget. One thing for certain, Clint, is if these beings wanted to dust your ass, you wouldn't be hearing anything. You wouldn't be hearing trees crack. You wouldn't be hearing nothing. You wouldn't be seeing them if they wanted you dead. So I know that's a tough thing to override in your head, to accept that as that possibly a good thing and not a scary thing. And the reality is, it is a good thing. The shitty deal is, it scares the living shit out of us, both you and me. I'd be lying if I told you it didn't make me nervous as hell out there. Obviously it does. I don't know why it makes me nervous. Grizzlies don't make me nervous. I've crawled on my hands and knees in willow bush all by myself with a shotgun to go after and load. I don't have to prove my bravery. I prove what I'm scared of or not in the woods. I don't have to. I'm just saying, these things do scare the shit out of me at times. And I still go. How do I still go? I don't fear death. First off, that's number one that I'll share with all of you. I don't fear death. I've been too close to death too many times. I understand that there is more after this lifetime. That's another topic, but that's how I roll in my brain, right? But move areas. Go find somewhere else to hunt. Okay? When they make themselves known to me intentionally, on average, I've just left. I just leave. I don't go there anymore. Especially in British Columbia, there's tons of places for me to go hunt, enjoy myself, or steelhead fish, or whatever, and I just go somewhere else. And I test the waters. I intentionally try to stay in tune with my sixth sense, my intuition, non-stop, and it's working for me. If I go somewhere where it really makes me nervous, really I'm looking over my shoulder, something's up, I'm unsettled, this isn't comfortable, I can't even concentrate on hunting or looking for sign, I'm out. I'll leave. And then I'll go back and I will try it again later in that same area just to make sure I was correct, or maybe something was there passing through, I don't know, but I'll go back again and I'll test the waters and I'll see if I feel comfortable. If I feel comfortable, game on. And then I can easily focus on the task at hand and what I'm into and what I'm doing. But I have a funny feeling if you intentionally keep going to back to that exact same location, you are going to continually get the same results from these beings that happen to be right there. I can guarantee you they're not trying to kill you, right? You'd be dead. You would be dead, you wouldn't hear shit, you'd be done, you'd be dusted. So just try to keep that in your head, all right? If it's getting back to normal is what you're after, first you gotta accept that fact, drill it into your brain that if these beings wanted you dead, you would be dead, all right? Hearing them is a good thing. Nobody hears a successful predator, nobody. It doesn't matter what flavor predator is, you don't hear them. You just end up caught, shot, or dead, whatever, right? So. But one thing, I was talking to Dave Plattis about this a little while ago, how elk, okay, getting back to big game, where there are grizzlies and elk. I mean, grizzlies are all over the place, and especially in the province of British Columbia. Grizzlies are everywhere, coast to Alberta, north to southern border, there's grizzlies here. But what I can say with confidence is where you find elk, you really find grizzly bears. Okay? And the point I'm about to make is, it seems where you find elk, you also find these beings more on average than not. So keep that in mind. If you are an elk hunter, I think just that fact alone ups your chances of having experience with these beings, from what we've been learning from numerous hunters around North America. If you hunt elk, if you go and camp and hunt where there are elk, the chances are greatly increased of having experience with these beings. Okay? There's been numerous experiences shared with people of hunters observing these things hunting elk. There's been numerous experiences of these things stealing elk from hunters' camps. The list goes on with elk and these beings. They like elk, we like elk. Okay? So try a new hunting spot, alright? Mix it up. Don't give up. Don't dump all. Don't change your existence on the face of this planet because of these shit eaters trying to ruin it for you. Don't give in and don't let it happen. Just say out loud, I don't want nothing to do with you. I know you're here. You know I'm here. Just leave me alone. I've said that out loud by myself numerous times in a couple deer hunting spots in the coastal mountains that I cannot leave alone. And it's working for me so far. And I remember last year I went to my normal place where I've shot a few elk by myself, and I felt creepier as shit a few times. Found some broken branches. My trail camera was spun to base a tree 10 feet up. And my new hunter partner last year heard clearly the loud cracks, bam, 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 on the side of a tree, right where I had gone solo to go pick up the elk, that quad, and I didn't hear a thing. I didn't hear a thing. That's coincidentally as well, I had previously said out loud, just leave me alone. I don't want the shit scared out of me. Did that have something to do with me not hearing that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's a mystery. This person I was with, I trust that person with my life, absolutely. And if they say that happened, it happened. So there's something to be said about voicing out loud your intentions and what you do and don't want. All right, so try that too, okay? But it's gonna kill me if I hear that you quit. I hate it. That's a big part of my motivation here, is the numerous people that I've heard of that dropped their outdoor passions because of their experience with these things that we do not get informed of at an early age in life, honestly. And that pisses me off. Obviously, I've made that clear numerous times. But we're turning it around, right? So good luck up there. Keep me posted, keep us posted. Email again. Email Scott Carpenter possibly for some tips on thwarting your experiences with these shit-eating pricks that continue to terrorize innocent people for no known reason. And good luck to you, man. Stay safe, alright? Now, next. It's been quite the battle morning this morning, hasn't it? Maybe I should get another coffee and see what it does. Idaho experience. Another in Idaho. It's non-stop in Idaho. Steve, heading out next week for opening archery. Is this the same person? Nope. Heading out next week for opening archery. Mainly elk and deer hunting, but I have mountain lion, wolf, and bear tags if the opportunity arises. I'm 53 years old, male and an avid bow hunter and outdoorsman. I've hunted the same remote part of Idaho for 30 years now. We hunt deer, elk, bear, lion, and wolf. One of my hunting buddies is a very accomplished hunter and taxidermist. That is all he does. He spends time in the woods. He spends time in the woods, a lifetime. He had an encounter years ago in a different part of Idaho where a creature would not let him walk any further into the stand of short pines in the snow. Each time he made a move, the creature countered by moving in front of him and screaming. This cat and mouse game went on for quite some time before my friend lost the nerve to try to continue to see and or shoot whatever was doing this to him. He is certain it was a Sasquatch, as he knows of no animal walking on 2 feet and actively relocating in front of him every time he moved, clearly audible by the crunching of snow. Nor could he understand what possibly could have made such a loud, vicious, blood-curdling scream. He never hunted that area again. He is convinced they are real. I believe him. I've been a bit more of a skeptic. One of the areas we hunt we call Jurassic Park. in a remote, isolated, untouched country. It takes about 2 hours to hike into from a logging road accessed via 4x4, about a 30-minute drive from our base camp. Years ago, 15 or so, we noticed a teepee type of structure just off the game trail we use as access to hike into the spot to bow hunt. This past year, the structure was relocated up the mountain some 300 yards. People couldn't have built the original structure without a crane. I own a construction company. It just couldn't be done. The new structure is of similar size and scope, appears to have been constructed with the original trees, plus some new ones. While at taxidermy show, my buddy told me that he, his son, and another hunting friend of ours came across a fresh footprint last bow season near the location of the teepee. He noticed it first, showed it to the other guys, and they all agreed on what they were looking at. It was a classic Sasquatch print, about 17 inches long and 8 inches wide. He then wiped it out with his boot and said, "Let's kill elk." So, this year, I was curious when they said the teepee was relocated. I saw the original built structure many times. I've not yet seen the new location. I did, however, find a footprint myself this year. I'm 6'3" tall and wear a size 13 or 14 boot. My boot is 14 inches long and 5 inches wide. The footprint I saw was an estimated 3 inches longer and twice as wide. What really puzzled me was the big toe splayed out from a stone which was embedded in the ground, clearly visible, with all the other toes clearly visible to the other side of this stone. No bear has a track this big in our area, and even if it was an overlay behind it and forepaws, the pad between the bear's toes would not allow for clearly visible elongated toes to be clearly visible. I have no reasonable explanation for this footprint. I've spent time in the woods since I was 5 years old, the past 30 plus years as an avid big game bow hunter. No explanation whatsoever. Another group in our hunting camp was 4 miles farther up the commissioned logging road I saw my track on about a week or so later. We call this Old Camp Road, as we used to be able to drive up this road and set our camp there for many years. The Forest Service decommissioned this and many other roads about 8 years ago, supposedly for salmon recovery. I think they just don't want us out in the wilderness. They described the footprint they saw as a woman, about size 7, clear as a bell, looking extremely fresh and with great detail visible in the mud. After checking the area, they saw several prints, but that was all they could find. So, I do not have a personal encounter to share, but I think they inhabit the area we have hunted for the past 25 plus years. My friend who had the encounter said, "It's cool, you're a believer now. You'll recognize more signs now every day that you spend in the wilderness." Thanks for your YouTube channel. My brother, who is a believer, recently sent me so-and-so's book. I'm not going to promote him. He also turned me on to your channel. For the first time, I'm trying to come to an understanding of the fact these do exist, I believe. Keep up the good work. Happy hunting. Kindest regards, Dave. Dave Carlson, Boise, Idaho. Dave, thank you for that, for coming forward bravely, right? I know what you're talking about. You know as well as I do, these things are running around out there. There's no getting around. There's no denying it. You just gotta accept it or not, right? Stick your hand in the hole, stick your head in the hole in the sand, or look up and look around and bright-eyed and learn. Elk again, right? Elk again. A popular elk zone again, with a lot of sign from these beings. It is what it is. They like elk. So do we. At least, thank God, they've been leaving you alone, right? So obviously, they've been sharing that area with you, no problem. That's key. As far as intentionally looking for them or looking for the signs of them and keeping that thought in your mind that you're looking for them intentionally when you're out there, I'd advise against it myself, because I have a funny feeling that brings on unwanted attention, because I have a feeling that attention is unwanted by them. So I think possibly if they sense that you're looking for them, they will sense that they are getting that unwanted attention, and then they're going to give you some unwanted attention in return, possibly, right? But then we get back to that original email, this video, which Dennis shared with us, that quote, bad one, wanted to take him. Whoa, right? I want to learn more about that. I want to learn more about that. I want to learn more about, I want to know why possibly one or more of these beings would take a human being. Why? What's that going to do for them? What's that going to solve? How are they going to benefit by taking one of us? Why? What do they do with us? I want to know. So getting back to you, Dennis, if you're watching this video, if you can, I know it's a bit of much to ask, but if we could have that answer, I think a lot of us would benefit, right? Actually, I guess if we get a lot of answers, a lot of us could benefit. Anyway, I got a lot to do. Just got home late last night. I gotta go guide for a few days. I also found a remote. I hiked up this creek a week ago, and I didn't have any of my steelhead rods here. They're all back at the old homestead. They're here now because I used them to float this camera system I have down into the pool so I can videotape what's down there clearly. And it's this crystal clear pool, and there is about, I would say, 15 or 20 steelhead stuck in there. It's a big, deep pool. And that's one of the things I want to do on my way out. I want to either slide into the pool physically with a GoPro on a stick, or I'm going to float my camera down a few times and get some wicked footage of these steelhead. I love doing that shit. And then I'll get up to the coast, do some guiding, and get a lot more shares out to all of you and get on top of this. Another quick note, I know this is a bit of a babble on my end, this video, but there's lots to share. For all of you in British Columbia who have emailed me previously on this topic, just so you know, I am going to be leaving here as early as I can. Early September, solo. And I will be solo heading north until September 20th-ish, 21st, when I will be hooking up with a couple hunting partners until the end of September. We'll be hunting up in the north. But anyways, what I'm saying is, in the meantime, if you want to meet up with me and discuss some things that are going on where you hunt or wherever, and maybe you want to share in front of this camera with me what you know, what you've seen with all these people here, we'll do it. Just email me. All right. I have a couple people in mind who are up around the Hudson, Hope, Chetwynd, Fort St. John area, Dawson Creek. I'm reaching out to you guys specifically right off the top. There's somebody else in Prince George. Might meet up with you. You have that one with the glowing balls in front of his chest. If you want, I'll meet up with you on the way up. We can have a bullshit session, and I'm going to take my time and creep up the province and meet up with as many people as I can when I can, and we're going to get to the bottom of, we're going to try to get to the bottom of what's going on. All right, so keep that in your minds, you people from British Columbia who live rurally. I'm coming. All right, and I got to take off. I got shit to do, and I will be back. A lot more shares. And for all of you doctors and nurses and first responders who have emailed me information on the pandemic, please keep it coming. I will be sharing all your knowledge, sharing with me, with the people, and I'll be using the Rumble channel so to make sure our presence here stays safe. I know a lot of people are going to say screw YouTube, but the fact of the matter is there is close to 4 million people a month are tuning in here to listen to the words from you here right now, okay? And there's definitely not those numbers elsewhere at this time, but we're going to work at getting that the other places, the safe places, caught up to speed with the reach. All right, how's that for battle? You car buffs who are curious about my car, I'll see if I can take the camera and I'll give you a quick glimpse of it right now for 2 seconds. And then oh my god, this gate is so embarrassing. Oh, I can't wait to get this barn redone. But anyways, I'll give you a quick glimpse of the car right now for the hell of it, and then I'm gonna carry on. There it is. It's got a 396 big block in it, the real one. It's a 4-speed. I think the last receipt for paint work on it was 1982 or something. There's interior. Very clean, very, very clean, very straight car. A lot of fun. And that's about it. It's a 68 Camaro SS. And it's definitely one hell of a survivor. Let me get the exposure up on that. It's a very clean car. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But there you go. There it is. It's a 68 Camaro, SS Camaro, 396 4-speed. And I gotta get my ass going in the man cave and get that top part done so I can get all this shit in here. So I can get all this stuff in here and get my life civilized again. But there you go. I'll see you guys shortly.